Quiet Place Day One shares behind the scenes photos on its first day of production, of course. I don't think we've really had a chance to talk about A Quiet Place much. It's not really something that we've gone over too in depth on the channel since we've rebooted here, but yeah, I think it's safe to say you and I pretty big fans of that first film.
Absolutely. That was one. I think maybe we covered that on By Admission Only at one point because I think we were doing the podcast. I can't remember 100%, but that was one that kind of caught us off guard. We just went on a whim, I think, on a Saturday or Sunday morning actually to go see that
Hmm.
film, and we were both blown away by it. Um, and I think it ended up being on our both of our bests of the year. I know it was on mine. I
Hmm.
thought it was either on yours or really close to being on that top 10 list. And it was something just very unique for the time, I think, and
Hmm.
unexpected. And then I think we also share the same opinion on that sequel.
Yeah, I'm not as harsh on it as I think you are, but I don't know if we've discussed it
Yeah.
nearly enough to for me to really gauge your full feelings on it. But yeah, it was definitely a little more lacking. I think the opening is really strong. I think that's the consensus to it is that seeing day one, which is kind of what this whole film is going to be about, was really cool. But other than that, it was just kind of it really feels like a middle chapter. I think the ending is quite abrupt and it just doesn't have the same stakes or resolution that the first film has.
Yeah, and I think that the perfect melding of that first film was kind of like you get this actiony creature feature mixed with horror, and then you also get this kind of heartfelt family story where all the characters meant something. And I think maybe that kind of got lost in translation in that sequel. Where for me, I keep comparing it to The Walking Dead. It felt more Walking Dead to me. Going into it, it felt like such a different tone from the first one. So it didn't connect with me as much. I mean, like it's not a horrible film, but like going from the quality of the first one to that second one, that it just left something to be desired. But like looking at this one, looking at day one, I know we're gonna dive into the talent that is attached to this, and I think that's really what mostly intrigues us here. I really think we're gonna get that kind of in-depth storytelling with a lot of the characters.
No, I agree completely. I think what is it? Michael Saranoski is how you say his name. He's the
I
director of
believe
Pig.
so.
Yeah, he's taking this over, and we loved Pig. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
For I think when we were talking about Renfield, we discussed Pig and a lot of the more recent Nicolas Cage stuff. And yeah, that is one of my more favorite films of the last probably 5 years. Really came out and just surprised the hell out of me. And I know you as well. That was one that just like it's so emotional and just so well performed, well executed. I really am excited to see what this guy is going to bring to this. Because again, I think you hit the nail on the head correctly. Is that family story of that first film really I think carried that movie for a lot of the way. You really felt for him. And then, like I said, the second one, you're moving so much and there's so much going on that you really don't get that kind of downtime or the luxury of getting to know a lot of the characters. And, it's one of those things where it's like this film, I know, is all new characters for the most part. We have Lupita Nyong'o, who we love from Us. I mean, she's fantastic. She's in a ton of things as well. Black Panther, all that. Joseph Quinn, who's been, having his whole thing since Stranger Things season 4, and of course Alex Wolff, who is no stranger to horror. He was in Hereditary. Was he the one in Pig? I always get
He's in
those
Pig. Yep.
brothers. Yeah, I always
Yep.
get the Naked Brothers band guys confused. But yeah, no, he was in Pig. So, he's already worked with this director. So it's like this seems all going in the right direction. I'm way more excited for this now than I was previously.
Yeah. And like looking at the new talent attached to this, I mean, you just named three actors there that attached to any project with a weak director, you can say, well, at least we're going to get a great performance by, Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, but having the director attached here, and knowing his talent, and also I think he's a co-writer on the project as well, and then
Hmm.
they're kind of carrying over the original talent in terms of being producers and writers from, that original film. So they're kind of, really treating the ideas and the elements of that original film. They're making sure that this all coincides. So it's like you're adding a lot of A+ players to the original team. So looking at this really has me excited, because I really feel like we're going to get those in-depth stories, and we're going to get the emotional feeling that we did get from the first one. So this one has all the makings to be, kind of get you back on track with A Quiet Place, the whole franchise as a whole.
Yeah, and we don't have too long to wait. It will be coming out a little over a year from now, March 8th, 2024. So it's coming right around the corner. And then I know we're definitely still talking about getting, not talking, we are going to be getting Quiet Place Part 3 eventually as time goes on here. And yeah, we have a couple of photos there, just some cool stuff. See the director, see John Krasinski there. We do have the original writers of the first film and the second one. They have their movie 65 coming out here pretty soon, which looks pretty cool. And they got to direct that one. So we will be definitely sticking to the Quiet Place wheelhouse as this film approaches. And yeah, I definitely think that we'll be discussing at least the first two films, before the day one or the third one comes out. So you'll get our full thoughts and opinions later on down the road.